high seed and potentially hosting in the postseason at their place, and Kentucky trying to make themselves a team that is worthy of that postseason bid. And so we are underway here in Lexington, and the first pitch is outside at 6:33 p.m. to Dallas Goodnight. Really brisk night here in Lexington, almost downright cold. They say the temperature is 52 degrees, feels like 48, and that's because there is a 15-mile-per-hour wind, and those flags in center field blowing straight out in this ballpark that hitters love.
The hitters are salivating and the pitching coaches are not.
Right. The dimensions in John Kropp Stadium, 200 down each line and 220 to straightaway center. And that ball is bunted back to Schoonover, fields it nicely, but I believe her foot got pulled off the bag. She had to go up top a little bit to field that ball. Did the first baseman, Lauren Borzilleri, and they will call that a base hit.
Goodnight does a really good job here of putting the pressure on this Kentucky defense. This has been something that Kentucky has struggled with, the consistency of their defensive play. And Goodnight as a leadoff, she's a 625 on base right now. She's someone that finds her way on there regularly.
9 of 12 on the base pass, and they may have given her a pitch to get across. That pitch a called strike on the outside corner by Matt Dial. Our home plate umpire, Phil Friels, is at first, and Marty Abedazian down at third. Boy, and Schoonover goes right back to work on the outside part of the plate. And it was a pitch that Lindy Ray Davis wanted no part of.
That's been such the determining factor for Schoonover so far, is getting those early outs, being able to work ahead in the count.
And there's the first strikeout of the game for out number 1.
Yeah, that's a big out, and especially for Davis. She's someone that blocks.
Smith, Blanton, and the freshman Plotz left to right in the outfield. And that first pitch is upstairs to Sarah Mosley for ball 1. As we mentioned, Mosley with 56 career home runs for the Bulldogs. Popped it straight back over us. Ball inside. You see those green socks and belts for Kentucky. This is the night of the season where they put the emphasis on organ donation. And that's the color for that organization and a very worthwhile cause. That ball hit off the fist, heading toward the Wildcat bullpen, and it falls harmlessly foul.
Pretty inspiring pregame festivities of a double lung transplant, singing the national anthem.
How about that,
and
right?
You know, a youngster celebrating her gift, throwing out the first pitch, the help of the family. So very cool.
That'll put things in perspective, right?
Very quickly.
And the count now to Mosley, all even at 2-2. Schoonover gets that rise ball up in the zone. Mosley fouled it off. Goodnight was on the move from first. And that ball got away from the catcher Hamilton.
I think it got the dirt in front of the plate and took that bounce. Not something that Hamilton can corral, and Goodnight's such an excellent base runner. You're going to see that ball in the dirt, and you are just going to go. You're not going to have a chance. Great wheels.
So they're going to call that a wild pitch. I didn't see the hop in front. But nonetheless, the base runner Goodnight advances into scoring position with a full count to Mosley. Got her on the inside corner. Both outs here in the first inning for Schoonover, coming via the strikeout, one swinging and one call.
With 2 outs, right fielder number 8, Jada Kearney.
Great movement from Schoonover. Anytime you're able to freeze a hitter, you know your stuff is moving.
And she knew it as well. And now with 2 outs, here's Jada Kearney, who we talked about. "14 home runs and those 35 knocked in, trying to make it 36. And she missed on that one. And now Schoonover in a controlling position. That one stayed just upstairs. That one almost got away from Hamilton.
These Bulldog hitters have great plate discipline. Something they've continued to make a priority in their offensive execution.
Went inside, got her on the hands again. Just missed again. And Kearney, after falling behind 0-2, has battled back to run the count full.
And it's hard to take this pitch. You know, you just saw your teammate get punched out on it, and you're deep in the count, so a lot of trust there from Kearney.
And she walked her. So now 2 on with 2 out.
Second baseman.
In steps the second baseman, Sydney Kuma. And so this is one thing that you and I and others have talked about with Schoonover. No matter whether she thinks it's a strike, obviously right now Matt Dials does it. And that ball dropped by Hamilton. And that was not a difficult pitch to handle.
Oh, no harm, no foul there. Kind of lost it after the pitch was a called strike. And, you know, Schoonover's had success already this first inning, especially spotting that screwball in on the right-handed hitter. So she'll keep working there, whether it's called or it's swung at.
That ball fouled off,
there.
and that got a big old piece of the home plate umpire, Matt Dials.
Yeah, Hamilton's checked on him 2 or 3 times already this first inning with some different deflections. This one right off the mask.
Got him on the shoulder, I think. That's why you keep padded up. Once again, Schoonover in front, 1-2.
Kuma hitting .417 with 2 outs. Pretty good indicator of the clutch gene for her.
Got her on the fists. Caught and fouled the first time we've seen Riley Smith in the leadoff spot. And she takes a called first strike.
Both these teams have really struggled with lineup consistency at the leadoff spot specifically. And Tony Baldwin was talking about it on his call that he can't find anybody that likes it. And there's a difference between being comfortable there and performing there.
Smith has hit anywhere in the middle of the lineup. We've seen her in the ace spot down at the bottom of the lineup trying to turn things over for the top.
Well, Riley Smith is so dynamic, and that's been the nice thing about watching her this year. She'll hit for extra bases. She'll protect the hitters in front of her. She's also someone who, Coach Lawson likes at the top because you want someone on base for Koffel. Maybe if they do pitch to Koffel, she'll have a chance to earn an RBI. So anytime you can do that,
and there you go.
Yep.
Leadoff single right through the right side on an 0-2 pitch.
Checking the handy notes here from Chris Scholes, and Smith was a little stretch there that Florida series that she led off, but that's the only time this year she's done that.
So now Walters will be tested early. You've not only got Smith at first, who's 9 for 9 on the base pass, but then the all-time home run leader at Kentucky, Aaron Koffel, set to take the first pitch. What a pretty off-speed pitch that was from Walters.
And Georgia's been using 3 different catchers behind the plate this year, so a little bit of inconsistency there. Might make it a little bit more notable for Kentucky to try to run.
Ball is ripped foul. That 1-2 pitch down in the dirt, and that's going to allow Smith to take off and go, and that'll be, we'll see how they score it. I think that's just a stolen base.
Yeah, that's a great read from Smith. She sees that ball in the dirt. You can see her belly button never turns, right? She keeps her belly button facing second base. Her feet keep moving, even if she's not full speed, because she sees the trajectory of that pitch. Once it hits the dirt, she's gone. No chance to throw her out.
So Smith now in scoring position for Koffel. She ripped another one. They do in fact call it a stolen base, so Smith now 10 for 10 on the year. Georgia fans wanted that one, but it looked like it stayed wide of the outside part of the plate. And now Koffel is battled back to run the count full. Boy, line drive. They just avoided the double play. Koffel hit it on a button, but she hit it right at the first baseman, Digby, for out number 1.
Yeah, and they did make the out call on Smith, so Coach Lawson has indicated review, so they will go.
Rolling on the field.
They made an out call?
They did.
Kentucky's challenging that.
Behind the runner a little bit there, our first base umpire, but getting it right's always the end result.
Yep. And after dealing with a shoulder injury from earlier in the season, Taylor Ebbs now back in the starting lineup, has been for maybe a couple of weeks or so. But the net effect of that was, boy, that could have been a start of a big Wildcat rally had it not been for the play by the first baseman, Digby. And I got to tell you, Walter's off-speed pitch has been pretty impressive here in the first.
It's definitely something that she can throw in any count that she'll rely on to keep aggressive hitters at bay.
And they look down to third and they say no. Here now, the 2-2 pitch. That ball's going toward the gap in left center. No one get there. Smith held up, but she'll score easily from second. Ebbs chugs into second with an RBI double, and the Cats take a 1-0 first inning lead.
This is where that review becomes really, really important. Having the ability to keep Smith safe at second, overturning that call. And you can see Ebbs just hits this ball where it's pitched, drives the gap. No doubt stand-up double. Easy RBI. Cats are on the board.
Kentucky with that 1-0 lead, but had it not been for the play by Digby, it would be 2-0. And now with Ebbs in scoring position, here's Lauren Borzilleri.
And how good has she been lately? Big series for her at Texas A&M. 3 home runs in College Station.
What will Borzilleri do on 2-0? And now it's 3-0. And she walked her on 4 straight pitches, and then the ball was bobbled. That'll be a pass ball on Davis, which allows Smith to go into third.
A more heads-up base running from this Kentucky crew, and you expect that from them. That's part of their offense. Coach Baldwin talked about how underappreciated their offense really is, and it's the little things like that. We've seen multiple.
For Kentucky, your right fielder, number 37, Peyton Lutz.
And so here has been, I think, one of the brightest spots for Kentucky this year, the freshman Peyton Plotz. 6 home runs and 19 batted in and runners at the corner here in the first. That one's in there for a called strike.
So often it's difficult for freshmen to find consistency, the length of the season, the opponent after opponent when you play this kind of schedule, and Plotz has really done a good job being consistent all year long.
There's a swing and a miss. So Borzilleri, after walking on those 4 pitches, she'll probably re-enter, but the pinch runner, Emery Donaldson, now down at third. And there's a shot through the right side. Donaldson scores with a second run of the inning. Plotz with the RBI single. Borzilleri goes into second, and the Wildcats are on top, 2-0.
And really, you go back through this inning and piece by piece of how they've put it together, and this is a prime example. You can see Plotz, she's lost her lower half completely, being able to stay on this plane with her bat and drive that ball right through the gap. Doesn't have to be exceptional, but she gets the job done.
And here's Grace Lorson. And let me correct myself. So Donaldson was in there pinch running for Ebbs, who got the RBI double. Obviously, Borzilleri still out there at second, and Plotz at first, and the only out, that sharp line out by Koffel. Throw back to second, and they got her. That was a big-time throw right there by the catcher, Lindy Ray Davis.
Yeah, this was outstanding. Davis has had a little bit of difficulty handling the ball. Doesn't miss a beat here. Throws from her knee. What a great backside drive. You can see her put the oomph on that and just absolutely catches Borzilleri, and it's a big out.
And that is something that Borzilleri has to see. I mean, everything is right there in front of her. So she didn't need communication or anything from anybody, but a big out there at second base for the second out of the inning. Off speed again. As I said earlier, she has had command of that pitch.
Yep, and when you're going to see it a lot, you have to decide as a hitter, is that something I can sit on, or am I going to throw that out the window and I have to attack one of the other pitches that I get early?
Ball is hit foul. So Smith started things off singling through the right side. She stole second. Koffel lined out to Digby at first. Ebbs doubled to bring home Smith. Borzilleri walked. Plot singled to score the second run. And then Borzilleri got picked off at second, and that's on the corner. And the inning comes to an end. But not before the Cats get 2 runs. At top 10 all season long. And that pitch to Sydney Chambly stays on the outside for ball 1. So let's see what Stephanie Schoonover can do with a 2 spot in the first.
This is where it becomes so important for Schoonover to continue commanding the zone, getting those leadoff outs and going right at these Georgia hitters, giving them extra opportunities, extra bases from free passes. That's the last thing you want to do.
Held up on that one as Schoonover misses upstairs again. And I believe that hit her.
I think you are right.
So Schoonover immediately gets a 2-run lead. There you see her shaking that left hand. And there you see Tony Baldwin. See what he's done in 3 seasons. All the success they had when he was a Georgia assistant. Now the umpires are coming together. I wonder if there's a question as to whether or not it hit the bat. I believe that's maybe what Rachel Lawson is asking.
Yeah, I think she just wanted a second opinion. You can bring the umpires together without using review or anything like that. And Coach Baldwin, it's been fun to watch this program grow with him at the helm, and longtime assistant for Coach Lou Harris-Champer, one of the best.
The ball stays outside to Jaden Goodwin. The Bulldog left fielder. Senior-laden lineup. You've got 5 seniors in this starting lineup, 2 juniors. Goodwin is the sophomore and 1 freshman in Digby.
We've seen that make such a huge difference too. You go back to the 2020 season with COVID and being able to retain student athletes for the extra year. It's kind of the last year for that right now, and the teams that have done it, they find themselves in the upper echelons of the sport, and that's right where Georgia is. Very, very battle-tested, very experienced.
Baldwin says his team's not playing badly. That ball is just foul. But he's just not where they want to be here as of late. Is that fair?
Yeah, I think so. And you listen to him talk about how not everything is clicking at the same time. And you look at their record and you're thinking, how are you 32-8 and things aren't clicking, right? But it's because they have enough firepower to win with not everybody hitting, not everybody pitching. Their defense is outstanding. And that's not something you're used to saying with Georgia softball, maybe a decade ago. Their defense is phenomenal. So I think most people around Athens and around the program are just waiting because they feel like if it comes together, this team is very potent.
And Goodwin now has worked the count full with Chambly at first. Again, fouled off just over the third base dugout. That ball hit her. So this is what we've been talking about with Schoonover. You get out to a 2-0 lead, and then you start off the second inning and hit back-to-back batters.
Yep, and this one, you know, Goodwin not looking to get hit, just something that got in on her and she wasn't able to get out of the way. But you're absolutely right, and it's limiting the free passes. Now you're moving people into scoring position, just breathing life into a team that's very good offensively.
And that bunt is straight up in the air, but Hamilton couldn't find it. Lifted to right field. Plotz is underneath it. Chambly's going to tag it second. Throw is over. The cutoff attempt by Koffel, but good backup there. And so Goodwin is unable to advance at first. Still, there's just one out, and the Dogs with runners at the corners.
Stop number 24.
Yeah, that's the play that you want to have to cut that so that you can keep the runner at first base. Not really a shot to get Chambly. Good speed. The ball's deep enough to tag and advance.
And that bunt rolls foul. Nice play by Borzelleri to let it roll foul as shortstop Emily Armstead.
Yeah, small game's not something you see a lot from Georgia. You know, the sacrifice attempt at the last batter, and here with Armstead and the squeeze, you know, just trying to get something going any way you can. Put a run on the board, not able to capitalize on that one.
So let's see if they try again. That ball is lifted to left. Chambly's going to tag it third. However, it wasn't deep enough. And an alert play out there by Riley Smith, who threw behind the runner, but she had not veered too far off the bag, and Schoonover just one out away now from getting out of this second inning jam.
Yeah, two soft outs there.
With 2 outs,
Kentucky's
center
defense
fielder,
able to keep
number
these
1,
runners at bay so
Dallas
far.
Goodnight.
Turning the lineup over back to Goodnight, you know, hitting 500 in SEC play. This is tough.
There's a swinging strike to Dallas Goodnight, who singled to lead the game off. Stayed up and out.
And this is a tough situation for the Kentucky defense, because in order to get Goodnight out, you really need to squeeze the defense. You see the corners are in, respecting Goodnight and her speed, knowing that that's the third out. But it is so hard if she puts a pace on a ball to be able to make that play, and that's what makes her so multidimensional and successful offensively.
Stayed upstairs. They faked the throw to second. That's a good play. They get 2 in scoring position, but Goodwin gets the stolen base. And now Georgia with 2 runners in scoring position, 2 outs, and a 2-2 count to the leadoff hitter, Goodnight. grounded to third and fouled. Fielded there by Lorson.
Goodnight with that back control, even Schoonover being outside the zone with 2 strikes. Goodnight not leaving anything to chance. Schoonover here really needs a challenge in a new spot, new speed, something to change up the rhythm for Goodnight.
She has not tried to come back on the inside part of the plate to Goodnight. Goodnight continues to punch it foul. Pitch count continues to go up here after an inning and 2/3, 51 already for Schoonover. Of course, we saw her pitch 181 one night, right?
Yes, we did.
And that stayed downstairs. Koffels got it, crossed the diamond, and the Cats get out of the inning. Georgia gets no runs, no hit. After John Calipari left earlier this week for Arkansas. Pope is a guy that loves this university. First pitch swinging and hitting is Carissa Hamilton, and quickly that is out number 1.
With 1 out, second baseman, number 12.
Both major programs in this area undergoing coaching changes within the last month. And here is Margaret Tobias. Slapper takes the first pitch for called strike 1.
See how tight this Georgia defense is playing Tobias. She has no extra base hits on the year. All 21 of her hits have been singles. Really going to challenge her to put something through the infield, make her work.
And that ball fouled off. Georgia fans along the first base dugout wanted that one. That's a shot, and that's going to be a base hit.
Extra bases.
She's going to go to second, stand up with a double, and what perfect placement by Tobias as she shot it past the pulled-in third baseman Mosley, and then got it by Armistead, who was deep in the hole at short.
Well, this is exactly what we talked about. You know, how can you hit it through? And she finds the perfect placement, kicking off that glove from Armistead. And Armistead's defense has been outstanding all year long, and that is 100% on Tobias, her ability to do that. That's not a defensive reflection. That's great plate appearance from her.
And so here's the Wildcats' number 9 hitter, Jenna Blanton, who puts down a perfect bunt. And Walters slips in front of the mound. I hope she didn't hurt herself. And now Blanton is going to get herself in a rundown between first and second.
Yeah, designed play here. Blanton trying to help the ability to score from Tobias. Well played there from Georgia's defense, getting everybody back to their bases. Kentucky came to play tonight.
Off-speed pitch stays outside. There's Rachel Lawson in her 17th season. 30-plus wins in 13 straight seasons. To me, that's the most important and most impressive part of that resume. Smith faked a bunt, and Blanton goes into second with a stolen base.
Well, I agree with you with Coach Lawson and her ability to come in, assemble a staff that stayed together as long as they have, be able to really recruit well, recruit a specific kind of player that thrives in the program. I always think you can really tell how good a coach is at developing student athletes if their best players are seniors. And they continue to get better when they come to Kentucky and play for Coach Lawson.
So now, let's see what Smith does with a 2-1. Took a good rip at it, going into foul territory. And Goodwin just couldn't get there. If she did get there, you got to make a decision, too.
Yeah, you might not want to get there.
Right.
That's right.
There you see Smith's numbers. 14 extra base hits. Something that her coach has been pleased to see. And the dangerous Aaron Koffel awaits on deck. That ball to second. That's going to score. Tobias from third. They get Smith at first, but she does her job. Getting in the Wildcats' third run, and it's 3-0.
Yeah, good play there from Kuma, too. Riley Smith has great speed, so that backhand and quick decision, excellent defense from Georgia. Smith does her job, scores the run, hits on the right side of the field, but getting that second out is huge.
And so now let's see whether the Dogs choose to pitch to Koffel or try to pitch around her. And they're going to walk her. No surprise at all there. And for Koffel, she's got 29 RBIs, and now this will be her 30th walk of the year. She's been hit an additional 13 times.
I mean, it's nothing but respect. Obviously, you're going to circle someone on your lineup and say, this person will not beat us. And for Georgia, you know, Aaron Koffel, and for the entire country, Aaron Koffel has been that person they've circled. She's just that good. But it puts a lot of pressure, you know, on the on-deck circle, and assuming that we're going to see the return of Ebbs.
But then especially after she smoked that ball in the first inning, which was caught for a line out.
Yeah, there's nowhere to pick.
Got the RBI double in the first, re-enters to face for the first time Lily Backus, who comes on in relief for the Dogs.
Backus as a lefty, just going to give obviously a different look. She'll throw a curveball, drop ball, change up a rise ball, much lower in the velocity, has a lot of experience transfer from North Carolina. Added a little bit of a different look from last season. She does throw a drop ball now, so she'll just really try to vary her pitches, try to tunnel them well, and that's the goal of every pitcher, right? Disrupt the hitter's timing, and that's what she needs to do with Ebbs.
Ball fouled off. Backus is one of the pitchers that Tony Baldwin was talking about on his call the other day. They pitched him against Georgia State the other night in a midweek game where they were heavily favored, and he said, sometimes you've just got to let somebody pitch their way out of problems. That ball is smoked to right center and gone. Taylor Ebbs with a 3-run shot. And it's 6-0.
Oh, that feels so good when the person in front of you is intentionally walked to get to you and you're able to deliver. And you can see Ebbs on this pitch. She sees it, she sits on it and absolutely obliterates it. Look at that rotation coming from her backside. Hits this ball so hard. Talked about the park, talked about the wind. But that would have gotten out of a lot of different places.
Squared that one up as Ebbs, who we talked about, had been fighting injury this year, goes deep for the 5th time. And with those 3 RBIs, she now has 32 on the season.
Back to your point on Backus and throwing in the midweek, you're absolutely right, and that's what Coach Baldwin talked about. And he has said something's a little off with Lily. We've been trying to make some mechanical adjustments. You know, it just hasn't clicked for her yet. And so being able to work through it, and it's not fun when you're working through it from a player perspective or a coach perspective, but sometimes you just have to keep pitching, and that's where they are right now.
That ball stayed upstairs. Backus, despite that, 12-4 mark this year.
And that really speaks to how complete this Georgia team is. You know, they can support their pitchers with runs. You know, they play good defense. So for Kentucky to jump out with 6 runs in the first 2 innings, that's huge.
2 outs. And that's a good off-speed pitch, and she got her. But not before. Lindy Ray Davis. The Georgia catcher leads things off here in the second. Struck out in the first. And with the margin now at 6-0, you would expect, I believe, Schoonover to be pounding the strike zone. Instead, she's falling behind 3-0 on the leadoff hitter.
Well, Davis is 12th in the country in walks per game. I mean, just the scouting report on her alone is that she will take a ton of pitches, especially marginal pitches. Doesn't mean you have to pipe it, but walks aren't surprising for her.
And she heads down to first on 4 pitches.
Third baseman, number 33, Sarah Mosley.
Sarah Mosley turns on one. Is it fair? They say it is foul. And boy, oh boy, oh boy, did she turn on that pitch.
And Mosley got every piece of that one. Tony says she's plus power, right? I mean, she just, no doubt that she can.
She absolutely was there.
She can hit for extra bases.
That one stayed downstairs. Got her in on the wrist where she couldn't do anything with it. So the out pitch for Schoonover here recently has certainly been that screwball that's got some rise on it.
And just like any pitcher, I mean, it's really that location piece, right? There's such a difference between 1 and 2 inches.
And that ball gets away from Hamilton. Count now 2-2. Got her swinging. Third strikeout of the night for Schoonover.
With 1 out, right
Such a great job. And when you can be so accurate early in the count and you get a hitter in a hole, then be able to work the other side of the plate. It's just a real testament to Schoonover and being able to work through the entire at-bat. Every pitch with a purpose.
Jada Kearney takes ball 1. Walters officially goes an inning and 2/3, gives up 4 hits, 5 runs. Only 1 was earned, 2 walks and 1 strikeout. Schoonover wants the signs again. Remember, Rachel Lawson has given up all her pitch calling duties except for when Schoonover throws because of their long relationship. you see Lawson and assistant coach Grace Ballman, who handles the pitch calling duties for the rest of the staff. And again, Schoonover issues the base on balls.
Second baseman, number 6.
You know, that's not a terrible walk when you get first base open and you look and just see what Jada Kearney can really do. So I understand that when you're not giving anything too specific, you know, have a plan in mind, but it's this at bat right now. What's this comeback look like?
It's an inside corner strike to Kuma. But isn't that like her third walk, and then she's hit 2 batters?
Yeah, and that's been the Achilles heel. And, you know, they've talked about that of, you know, getting leadoff outs, of being able to play, you know, shutdown defense. Well, it's hard to play shutdown defense if you have people on base all the time.
And there's the off-speed pitch, which has been so good to her. And here now, the 0-2, and it's fouled off.
Losing your footing out there a little bit.
Something's not right.
A little wobbly.
0-2 pitch stays upstairs. There you take a look at those at-bats. We talked about all the seniors. Look at all those at-bats this lineup has.
Yeah, there's no substitute for experience either. It just makes you a next level approach when you are at the plate. And even right now, you know, looking at Kuma, she's just extending this at bat. And when you have some accuracy problems, like we've seen with Schoonover, it makes it more difficult if you have to stay on that plate, pitch after pitch after pitch. Kuma really working hard here, this 2-2 count.
Here comes the 2-2 again. And she hit her. So now Schoonover has walked 3 and hit 3 batters in 2 1/3 innings.
I don't think this is what Rachel Lawson had in mind. And, you know, when you look at the things that make Schoonover so good, you know, it negates almost everything, you know, when you're dealing with being behind in the count or runners on base.
Davis walked, Kearney walked, Kuma hit by a pitch, bases loaded, and that's a called first strike to Sydney Chambly. All of this coming after the Wildcats had gotten out to a 6-0 lead after 2. Chambly, one of the 3 that have been hit by a pitch tonight.
Georgia just so dangerous. It doesn't take many swings for them to turn this thing around.
And I think this has been a pretty fair and not an overly tight strike zone by Matt Dials tonight. So it's not like Schoonover's getting squeezed.
No, most of the pitches that she's lost have been way out of the zone. You know, there's only been a couple, and she's been helped by a few chased pitches from Georgia as well. So definitely has a swing and miss factor working in her favor also.
Got her swinging. So threes are wild. 3 strikeouts, 3 walks, 3 hit batsmen for Schoonover.
And sometimes the inconsistency is your friend. You know, if you're a hitter and you've seen that spin on a ball and it hasn't stayed in the zone, or it has, and you know, it just really challenges what you think you're going to get.
And here's Jada Goodwin with 2 strikes as she swings and misses on the first pitch. She was also another victim of a Schoonover hit by pitch. Davis at third, Kearney at second, Kuma at first, 2 outs. And that ball is hit into left field. That's a base hit. Riley Smith gets over there and cuts it off quickly, but not in time to prevent Davis from scoring from third, Kearney scoring from second, and the Wildcat lead is cut to 6-2.
One of the more sharply hit balls we've seen tonight from this Georgia team, and in a matter of time when you allow so many pitches and seeing Schoonover so much, this ball is not a bad pitch. You can see it is up and tailing away from the strike zone. Goodwin, though, able to get that bat out there and drive the pitch for the RBIs.
So 2 big plays by Digby. She caught that.
For them to be able to take advantage in this 3rd inning, that's big for them, especially being in a hole a little bit right now.
So Goodwin with that double down the left field line. And Digby lifts one to deep left center. It's in play, and that's the inning. But not before the Dogs get a couple of runs on a hit. The 2 RBIs single by Goodwin, and it's 6-2 of the 3rd inning, as their lead has been cut to 6-2. And Peyton Plotz takes the off-speed pitch up high. Look at what she has done in terms of freshman. I just can't state it enough. She has just been so solid, Joanna.
She has, and being able to have a first year with that kind of campaign is great, and continues to find a way on base right now.
Plotz hit by a pitch. First HBP given up by the Dogs. And is Rachel Lawson going to go for a pinch runner? She is. Comes in to run for Plotz.
First base, number 8, Delaney Sullivan. Now batting for the Cats, your 3rd baseman, number 33, Grace Lorson.
And now Grace Lorson, who was caught looking, stands in.
Lorson, another Kentucky hitter who had a great weekend at Texas A&M. She had 2 home runs in that series. Kentucky can really score in bunches. We've seen that with the long ball from several different Wildcats, but we've seen it already here tonight, right? A couple crooked innings.
Boy, that is a shot off the glove of the 3rd baseman, Mosley. That'll be a base hit. That would have been extra bases, though, had Mosley not gotten the glove on it.
It kind of knocked that down a little bit, and Lorson just really timing that up well, and so far some success with that from back as she pulls this pitch. It's coming towards the outside half of the plate, just barrels that up.
Catcher, number 2,
Able to find her way aboard, past the bat.
So the Wildcats get the first 2 aboard here in the home half of the 3rd inning. And here's the catcher, Carissa Hamilton. Remember, we've already seen Lindy Ray Davis throw behind a runner at second and punch him out already this game. Hamilton bunts, and it Rolls foul. Interesting that these two teams are right behind one another in terms of extra base hits, because if you look at most of the SEC standings, there is a considerable distance between Georgia and Kentucky in all of the offensive numbers. That's a nice bunt by Hamilton. That'll get the job done. Sacrifice goes from Digby to Kuma. Sullivan advances to third. Lorsing advances to second.
And really looking at that graphic, Kentucky coming into this series hitting .212 in the SEC. So average-wise, far below what they expect to be. But the one thing we've seen the Kentucky coaching staff and program put the onus on has been extra base hits. It's not how often you're getting hits, but when you're getting them, are you doing damage with them?
So Rachel Lawson goes with another pinch hitter. This is the freshman Allie Hutchins. A chance to get those 2 runs back for Kentucky. That's in there for a called strike. So 3-1 now. As you see what the Kentucky pinch hitters have done, Hutchins is either going to be on first or get a really good look at a pitch. Takes it for strike 2. Got her with the off-speed pitch, and it was a pretty one.
That's what's so difficult when you take that second strike. It is right there. You're so far ahead in the count, and then you fall victim to the off speed for strike 3.
And with 2 outs, Rachel Lawson will go with her second straight pinch hitter. It'll be the freshman utility player, Cassie Reisner. Again, Sullivan at third and Lorsing at second. Now Backus has really got that off-speed pitch working.
And the one thing that Reisner does really well, we've seen so far this year, she's very intentional. So having time in the dugout, watching what's happening before her, see if she can execute her plan here.
Popped it up to the infield, and that'll do it. Cat Strand pitching here early on, but your defense has made a couple of big plays to keep from big innings becoming even bigger.
Yeah, Kentucky's done a really good job squaring up some balls and having good at-bats, but all things considered, we've minimized some of the damage, and now we just got to string together at-bats and see if we can get back in there.
Yeah, Coach Baldwin, you got after Schoonover a little bit that last half inning. What do you want to see from your offense right now?
I think we just got to keep commanding the strike zone and putting good swings on good pitches. I don't know that we've put quality enough swings on the right pitches yet, and if we can do that, then good things will happen.
Thanks, Coach. We appreciate the time.
Yep, thank you.
All right, that's Tony Baldwin. And they have made some big plays defensively now. And, they were able to come up with some stops. They got out of a jam this last inning. Last time they were up here at the plate, they got 2 of the 6 back. And they'll see what they can do now as they go 9 in the top of the order with Ellie Armistead. Armistead flew out the left in her only other plate appearance. That ball shot to center field and caught. That is Delaney Sullivan, who came in to pinch run. and stayed in there defensively. Nice move, Rachel Lawson.
It's like she can see the future. You know, you come into the game and the ball will find you. Sullivan does a great job after entering to play defensively and pinch run, and she has a couple of newcomers with her. She's got Nesby in right, Reasoner at second.
Those are the changes. Peyton Plotz was substituted twice, so she's done. But as you said, Reasoner in at second for Margaret Tobias. And Nesby in at right field where Plotz began the game.
So much versatility for both of these teams, but Kentucky specifically right now with Reasoner coming in to hit in a scenario where you want to hit her, you have maybe a slapper up, and being able to, you know, make that change and not skip a beat defensively. You can leave that student athlete in until the next at bat comes and you know what type of offense you want. Coach Lawson just plays chess with those decisions.
What a grab down there by Lorsing. I thought that ball was going to get by her. Not only did she make the grab, but a really quick transfer for out number one.
Absolutely, and this is hard to do when she's moving across the field like this with the ball coming off her glove side, being able to stay low, continue moving to shorten that throw as much as possible. Great speed in the batter's box as well. Lorsing showing why they like her so much defensively.
And here's Lindy Ray Davis, who walked last inning and scored, and that was a check swing that just about made it out to the track. And one of the quickest half innings, 6 runs, 6 hits in the first 3 innings, you'll take it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It was a great way to start the day.
Coach, Schoonover had a great bounce back that last half inning. What do you want to see more from her as this game progresses?
You know, Georgia's such an awesome offense, and they have power throughout the whole order. So we just got to make sure that we eliminate, you know, free passes, singles, that sort of thing, so that we're just dealing without, you know, the bases cluttered.
Great. Thanks so much, Rachel.
All right, thank you.
Appreciate it. 6-2, the Cats on top. Riley Smith has played a big part in that. She singled back in the first and scored. And then in the second, she grounded out to second and drove home a run. There you see the offensive summary. Big home run by Epps. But still, they leave 5 in scoring position.
Well, yeah, the 3 for 8 with runners in scoring position is huge. You know, right now, Georgia's only 1 for 9. So majorly the difference in this game. Kentucky's been able to make things happen.
Wow, like that. You can clinic that all day. You cannot hit a better bunt than that.
When you have to respect Smith so much because she also has legitimate power. It's just a different defense that has to play against her. You can see even though the corners are close, she does a great job putting the spin and deadening this ball. Not a shot for the defense to get this out.
And I just think that's so hard to do because going from hitting with power to like deadening that ball is so difficult. But what it does, it puts her on first, and it puts Georgia in a situation to have to pitch to Erin Koffel. Smith runs. They didn't get the tag. It looked like they might have gotten her on the hip as she went by, but we didn't have the angle that Marty Azabatian had. She kind of swiped at her there on the backside, but I still can't tell. Nobody's asked for a review.
I'm pretty sure that if there would have been a tag, we'd have seen every student athlete on that field putting their hands on their ears. So looks clean.
Koffel, short fly to left, and that's hauled in by Goodwin for out number 1. And a frustrating night offensively continues for the Kentucky shortstop. And so here's Taylor Ebb, speaking of big night. She had that 2-run double in the first, and then that homer in the second. She is responsible for 4 of these Wildcats' 6 RBIs.
Halfway to the cycle. having Ebbs back in the lineup for Kentucky has been so nice, bringing the power from the left-hand side, ability to hit for average.
Boy, she went after that 2-0 pitch, and what a job by Backus of pulling the string. Two pitch, jammed her up over to the left side. Mosley in foul territory, and that's out number 2.
Backus has done a really good job of the last 2 at-bats. Very talented hitters coming back strong after that leadoff single and challenging this Kentucky offense and trying to find her groove right now.
Don't know how much they'll go with Backus. We see Riley Orcutt, senior right-hander, loosening down in the Georgia pen. And with 2 outs, here's Lauren Borzilleri. The longer she seems to go, the better Backus seems to be.
Well, that's a good sign for Georgia. You know, they've talked about trying to work through some things and make some adjustments.
Hard shot to third. Mosley's got it. And the Dogs get out of the inning. They come to hit in the 5th.
The mic on Coach Murph.
Yeah, they got the button. It's all good.
That's such a great event. I love that they do that.
Great concept. Really adds to the game and gives you a different perspective on what goes on night in and night out. And Sarah Mosley, who had a busy bottom of the 4th, leads things off in the 5th for the Dogs. Struck out both times up. Didn't look like she had figured out Schoonover on that swing.
That's what's so hard about facing Schoonover, is that she gives you different looks.
Got that one barreled up, but Reasoner is there. And there's one away.
What you looking for? We know what you looking for. With 1 out, right fielder number 8.
Big weekend in the SEC. Arkansas leads South Carolina late, and Florida, Missouri all tied. 1-run game in the 4th at LSU. And Mississippi State at home on top of number 4 Tennessee in the 3rd.
I think after a while you'd stop being surprised when you look at scores, because
you should, at least I should, yes.
You know, there's Mississippi State just hits so well, but Tennessee's pitching is so good. That's going to be a great series, and Missouri, Florida going toe-to-toe right now.
Jada Kearney gets jammed inside. Schoonover had that one get away from her. Boy, just look at the difference in those numbers. All-American a season ago.
To Coach Lawson's point in the half inning when we were speaking to her, I mean, the out that you get to start this inning is huge when you have Kearney coming up because of what she can do. So, you know, yes, that was a hard struck ball. Reasoner able to stick with it and get the out. And it can be a difference maker, especially over the course of a 3-game series.
No question. And that 2-2 pitch, a slow roller down to Lorson. Boy, it was about maybe this time a year ago. She was struggling at the plate. She started hitting the ball. It improved her defense. It improved the way she carried herself. It's just been really, this is an old guy phrase, but it's been really cool to watch.
It has, and sometimes things just start to click, you know, and then it all makes sense. But it's so difficult in our sport because you're playing both sides, right? And you see some other sports where, they only play offense, only play defense, whatever it might be. And you have to be able to get over things quickly. You have to be able to have a very short-term goldfish memory because the ball will find you, and it will make a example of you.
It finds Koffel. And after some early struggles, 2 really quick innings are here at 6-2. And that's a called first strike. Boy, I thought Plotz started, went out, came back in, and here she is again. She's got to be changing over to the DP or something. I don't know what Rachel does with all this stuff.
She definitely can maximize a lineup, unlike anybody that we have seen. Plotz starting the game in right field, and then when you have that flexibility, you know, able to run in multiple subs before you re-enter, you know, your original student athlete, it will give you a variety of looks and still allow Plotz to come back. And you know, we look at how many different lineup options you have in a game. We'll see a lot of different people run in and out within a 7-inning span.
Ball inside.
Good pitch there from Backus, working back into this count. Fills it up.
Ball in for a called strike on the full count. And like I said, she has just...
With 1 out to the Cats, your third baseman, number 33,
and, you know, we talked about the aggressiveness. The Kentucky hitters that we have seen do the most damage and have the biggest at-bats have been aggressive early in the count. When you wait and you become susceptible to that changeup, it is much harder to have a successful at-bat.
And Grace Lorsing found the first pitch off the right side. Lorsing caught looking and singled in the third. And that is behind the plate. Third baseman Mosley calls off her catcher, and it was a good thing. That, you know, we're chuckling a little bit, but that is absolutely the way you've got to communicate and work that.
100%. Mosley does a great job taking this ball away from Davis. You can tell Davis can't find it, and this is hard. This ball with that spin, trying to find it, reading the flags to know what's going to happen with balls in the air, and that one was just missed. But a great defensive play to take away an out.
And with 2 down, Carissa Hamilton takes upstairs for ball 1. She has one of the 7 Wildcat hits. Check that. My lineup had not moved. That pitch just stayed up.
I saw that comparison there from Hamilton and what she's been able to do this year from last year, just making the most of her opportunities. You know, it's a little bit of a waiting game when you have someone like a Kowalik in front of you, and she's really done a great job.
That hitter. So I'm going to say between the 2 teams, I believe that's the 5th hit batsman we've seen tonight.
It's a really fine line, you know, when you're trying to command the strike zone. We hear both coaches say that, and you know, and then also holding your position. And this one just gets away from Backus. That's not close.
The ball stays up as Nesby steps in for the first time. Foul tip is hung on to. That ball hit sharply to left, but perfectly positioned. Is good one. And the Wildcats 6-2 here in the top of inning number 6. 6-7-8 for Georgia. And here's Sydney Chambly.
Georgia's been able to get the leadoff batter on in 3 of the 5 innings, and they've had some opportunities, just haven't been able to come up with a lot of the timely stuff other than what we saw in the 3rd.
Chambly was hit by a pitch and struck out. Good off-speed pitch, but it stayed down and away. So after a couple of innings of outstanding control, Schoonover finds herself in the hole, and now she runs the count full. And there's a base hit to left. Might it be 2? She takes the turn. Ball not fielded cleanly by Nesby. So that'll be a stand-up double to lead things off for the Dogs here in the top of the 6th.
Leadoff success continues for Georgia. Chambly just doing a really good job timing this up. You see, finds the barrel, delivers that ball to left center, and works her way to second.
Now batting left fielder number 2, Jaden Goodwin.
And this is where Georgia really needs to put some things together.
Yeah.
Only 1 hit with a runner on base this game, and that's been the difference for both of these teams. That 1 hit resulted in a couple of runs for Georgia earlier, but being able to string things together has to happen quickly.
Hamilton tried to tug that one back in, but it stayed outside to Jaden Goodwin, who's been hit by a pitch and doubled. And that ball is popped straight up. The pitcher, that's a good call there, as Schoonover was coming in instead of having Hamilton going out. And she hauls it in.
Yeah, and if, one thing we've seen is Kentucky pitchers fielding their position. Schoonover likes to field her position, plays solid defense, and it always helps you if you're corner or catcher, if your pitcher can do that. Take some of the weight off the defense.
That off-speed pitch looked good, but stayed down low. As I mentioned a couple innings back, I think it hasn't been a tight zone. It's been a very consistent zone, which is all you can ask for.
That's right. I don't think that will be on the front of anybody's discussion when talking about this game, and that's a great goal.
Isn't it, though? You see Emily Digby, who's flied out to right and flied out to center. 2 runs, 3 hits, and 1 error for the Dogs. 6 runs, 7 hits. No errors for Kentucky. Dogs have struck out 4 times. They've had 3 walks, but they've also had 3 other players get hit by a pitch. I'm sorry. There were 2 Georgia players hit by a pitch and 1 Wildcat. And that ball stayed downstairs. And so Georgia now with 2 on, 1 out. And the 9-hitter Armistead stands in. She's 0 for 2, but the Cats playing in at the corners and regular depth in the middle of the infield. And that ball got away from Hamilton. And so they advanced the runners without even having to sacrifice.
Yeah, we saw Armistead show the short game earlier. Defense going to come together here and take a minute. Oh, the 180 plus.
She's a volume pitcher.
Yeah, quantity doesn't bother her. Not yet. That's something you're going to worry about the next couple of weeks. But well, first things first, you got to find a way out of this inning.
Armstead fouls that one off. And Dallas Goodnight, the leadoff hitter, scheduled to hit next. But it looks like the senior Jaden Fields is in the on-deck circle. And now Schoonover behind 3-1. When she needed it the most, she came back to that off-speed pitch.
Yeah, took just enough off. We've seen that off-speed be in the low 60s. We've seen it be in the low 50s. And 3 different speeds from her tonight.
Left that one upstairs, and on the 120th pitch of the night, with 1 out here in the 6th. And here's Fields. And that ball is inside.
We saw that graphic earlier. Career-wise, Fields has 507 of her own at-bats, a career 306 hitter, 27 home runs.
Wow. Got that one on the inside corner. She's been looking for that pitch for a while. So Fields, the leadoff hitter. And the next 5 batters in the Georgia order are without a hit. Davis 0 for 2, Mosley 0 for 3, Kearney 0 for 1, Kuma 0 for 2. Georgia had those big numbers that they showed you earlier about runners in scoring position, and Schoonover would like to add to that total. There you see the season. Opponents only hitting .293 in this situation against Kentucky.
And of course, we're going to make it interesting now, filling up the count.
Chambly at third, Digby at second, Armstead at first, and she got her on the 3-2 pitch swinging. 5th strikeout of the night for Stephanie Schoonover, and that one far and away the biggest.
Yeah, that is a massive pitch for Schoonover, and that's the one that gets you. Is it rising? Is it a screwball? What is it? And what it is very, very hard to hit because it's coming at you from two different perspectives.
And now from the left side of the plate is the Bulldog catcher, Lindy Ray Davis. She struck out in the first, walked and scored in the third, and flew out to left in the fourth. Vickers no longer working in the Kentucky bullpen. Davis has 6 homers. And the Kentucky outfield continues to creep in. As Schoonover now works 2-1. You see the Division I strikeout leaders in Kentucky, 5th in the nation. And boy, would Stephanie Schoonover love to make it 273 here. That ball is hit well to left, but out of play. And then she got that into play. That one was enough to clear the wall. Again, 200 down each line here at John Kropp Stadium. And 220 to straightaway center. Chambly at third, Digby at second, Armstead at first. Tying run at the plate, and here comes the 2-2 pitch.
Everybody clap your hands. Clap your hands.
With Davis's propensity to walk, having her chasing some of those pitches, they're a little bit outside the strike zone right now. She is swinging. Great time for Schoonover with a ball to give to come back with an off speed, come back with something in on the hands of Davis. Sometimes it's hard to go away from what's working.
She has not gone near the inside part of the plate against Davis so far. Back up the middle, tough play, and that's a base hit. Chambly scores from third. Digby scores from second, but they get the runner out. Not sending her, but he was not stopping her either. And while you appreciate the aggressiveness, that is a tough out to make in that situation when you've got the momentum and you've got your 3 and 4 hitters coming up behind you. But they will still have the opportunity to come to the plate in the 7th. Mosley, Kearney, and Kuma, 3, 4, and 5 for the Dogs. Jenna Blanton re-enters, and she's now behind in the count 1-2. Credit Lily back as she's come in 3 1/3 innings, given up 3 hits and just 1 run, 3 strikeouts, and has allowed her team to get back in this game. And there's a strikeout.
Yeah, Backus has done a great job in using that changeup to keep these Kentucky hitters off balance. We've seen some of the aggressive nature of hitters working early in the count be very successful. Riley Smith, a great example of that. See what she does here. But it seems like the longer Backus throws through an at-bat, the more effective that changeup becomes.
That was her 4th strikeout of the night. Now here's the Wildcat leadoff hitter, Riley Smith. Couple of singles, the last one just an outstanding bunt for a base hit. She scored a run in the first, got an RBI in the second. That's that pretty off-speed pitch. Hot shot to the shortstop, and Armstead handled it nicely. And quickly there are 2 away.
Armstead has such a great feel defensively, positioning-wise. We talk about how difficult it is to decide where to play a hitter like Riley Smith. The spray chart doesn't help you a whole lot. She takes the ball with her well. Armstead understanding her pitcher, and her defensive positioning was spot on.
And with 2 outs, here's Aaron Koffel. That off-speed pitch just stayed downstairs. I gotta believe that the message here to Backus is not to give her anything that she really likes. Like that?
Wow.
Are you kidding me? That ball is over top of the scoreboard. That is one of the longest balls I've ever seen hit at John Kropp Stadium. A solo shot and an insurance run for the Cats as they go up 7-4. And Kentucky's all-time leading home run hitter gets her 12th of the season.
And 12 doesn't seem like a huge number, but she has so few pitches to actually hit, and that's outstanding. She sees this pitch from the get and just delivers on a swing.
Look at this over the scoreboard.
I know it.
Way over the scoreboard.
Yeah, I don't know what house that is back there, but I mean, the ball is now in there. You go.
I still think that's what the message was. It just may have gotten lost in transit to not pitch to her.
Well, or sometimes you think, oh, we're maybe a little safe, you know, but you're not going to hold her down for long. You're never safe with Aaron Koffel. She has the respect of every team around the country, and that's why.
And there's a base hit back up the middle. And boy, what a night for Ed. She's now 3 for 4 with 4 knocked in.
Yep. And that, being able to hit behind Koffel and do that, you know, whether it's after the intentional walk when she comes up huge or after the home run to restart a rally, sometimes that's the hardest place to hit is after a home run. You know, all the energy in the place is in the dugout, and you're in the middle of the batter's box, and you just restart it.
And now Backus, who has pitched so well, got the first 2 here in the bottom of the 6th, now desperately trying to get out of the inning. As Riley Orcutt is quickly back up in the Georgia bullpen. Borzilleri 0 for 2 with a walk. And now she's behind in the count 1-2. Ball down in the dirt. It's going to allow Ebbs to advance. I got to believe, though, that Rachel Lawson would just as soon not see her diving into the bag, because the way she jammed that shoulder to begin with that kept her out for several weeks was diving into the bag. You can still see the brace underneath her uniform on her right shoulder. And that ball is lifted to right, and the inning is over. But not before. And Sarah Mosley leads things off. That ball is hit a mile high. Lorsing settles under it. Had a little bit of a snow cone there on this windy night, but kept it in the webbing, and there's one away.
That's right. Just keep moving your feet, moving your feet, moving your feet. And she does a great job. And that ball was just missed. I mean, Mosley got a lot of that one. Schoonover with the ever-important first out. Big tone setter.
Other thing she did was she kept that off hand up to keep it in the glove. As Jaden Kearney stands in. 0 for 1 with a couple of walks. That one catches the outside corner. Not a bad miss at all by Schoonover.
No, not at all. Kearney is so good. Just like Koffel, she's been held at bay early, but she can do a lot of things with one swing. So when you're ahead, you'll be smart every pitch.
Boy, both teams, as that one stays outside, are going to look at their missed opportunities. Kentucky 3 of 12 with runners in scoring position, and Georgia is 2 of 12. Here now, the 2-2 pitch. Right back at Schoonover, and I don't think she saw that she had that one.
Nope, that's a look what I found moment, if there ever was one.
I swear she had her head turned. I don't think she saw it into the glove. Look at this.
The awareness,
watch,
right?
Watch,
you know
watch
where
this.
It's coming. Oh.
With 2 outs for the Bulldogs, pitch hitting number 7.
Great composure to gather herself.
Yeah.
Finalize that out.
And she had to get composed afterwards, too. Take a big, deep breath.
That's right.
And here is Sarah Gordon, the sophomore right-hander, who will pinch hit for Kuma. And that ball just missed inside.
Gordon, no stranger to the bluegrass, played last year at Louisville before transferring to Georgia over the summer.
Hasn't gotten a lot of opportunity in this season. That ball stays upstairs. She's 8 for 45 on the year, 7 runs knocked in, but she does have 3 homers.
She had such an outstanding offensive campaign as a freshman at Louisville. You know, transferring to Georgia, just hasn't found that same success to this point. A very talented hitter. Coach Baldwin, one of the best offensive coaches in the country. Got to think she's going to get there, but hasn't seen it so far.
And this is the story that is Stephanie Schoonover. I mean, she comes back and looks like she's cruising along in the last inning, and then with 2 outs, walks the next batter on 4 pitches. So she now, this is a Schoonover line. 6 2/3, 4 hits, 4 runs, all earned. 5 strikeouts, 6 walks to go along with at least 2 hit batsmen. And she's got 146 pitches. And Sydney Chambly, the designated player, stands in and takes the ball outside.
And that's what's so hard to you come back, with 2 outs in the 7th on the 4th straight pitch walk to a pinch hitter. I mean, you want to see her just go at Sarah Gordon, and she's not trying to throw balls. I mean, that's the thing. She's not out there trying to do anything different. It's just that command hasn't been as easy to come by this year.
That's 6 straight right there, as Kuma has re-entered to run at first base. And that ball is hit a bunch to left. Smith goes back off the top of the wall. Here comes Kuma. She's going to score, and cruising into second is Chambly with a 2-out RBI double. And that, in a nutshell, is kind of what happens when you get behind in the count.
Well, it is, and you think about what your tells of success are, and for Kentucky, it's being able to pitch with not having the runners on base, being able to go right at people, being able to work ahead. And we heard that earlier from Coach Lawson, right? You want to play defense without the added pressure of base runners, and you want to avoid the free passes, so when you do give up a double, it doesn't score a run. And unfortunately for Kentucky, both things have happened in the last 2 batters. So for Georgia, they're looking to ride this momentum, right? They've got something cooking right now, and if you're Kentucky, you have to find a way to get this last out.
Here's the left fielder, Jada Goodwin. She had a 2 RBI double, swinging at the first pitch and fouls it off. She was hit by a pitch in the second, had that 2 RBI double in the third, and was put out on a fly ball by Schoonover in the 6th. Missed upstairs, and Hamilton had to go up the ladder a little bit to get it. That off-speed pitch just missed downstairs. Tying run now at the plate. Goodwin hits that to the left side. Is there room? Larson goes over, and she got it. And it's still snow coned out of there. But the Wildcats finally able to close it out.